Part 30. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, Ai Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 303. Patrol the Mountains. Patrol the Mountains. Patrol the Mountains. The Dream Demon King is on his way to patrol the mountains. Standing on the head of Gyarados, the little Dream Demon hugged the blue triangle on its head tightly, feeling the cold wind whizzing around. It's going to hurt your eyes. Ka. 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 On top of the huge waves. The King Carp formation was like a bright red flag, rising slowly above the originally calm lake. The winter sun swayed on their scales, and the dazzling light made the sky eclipse. Roar! Everyone is here, it's time to sing the team song. Use the loudest voice to shout the loudest song, so that the entire lake and forest will be overwhelmed by the momentum of the Carp King's squadron. Ka! 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 The little fish at the front of the formation, as well as the two Carp Kings, must of course take the lead at this exciting moment for the fish. Can't sing? It doesn't matter. In the midst of huge waves, covering up the waves with your voice is the strongest sound. Among the rivers with lakes, the Salted Fish King chose the widest one, and led the Carp King army behind him, running towards the distance without stopping. Boom 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 boom. The sound of the huge waves is mixed with the roaring power of the Magi Carp Kings from deep in their hearts, spreading continuously towards the surroundings, spreading. Moo. In the forest on the edge of this river, several Kenteros who were taking a nap couldn't help but look towards the source of the river. In the direction of the sun, a wall of water seemed to be formed. This is. Is there going to be a flood? Moo. Kentaro here immediately started running with all his strength in the downstream direction, but. Roar. The Salted Fish King swam quickly beside them. The Kenteros ran faster. Ho ho ho. After a while, a Gyarados passed by them again. The Kenteros have tried their best to suck the milk. Cluck, K. Immediately afterwards, a carp formation composed of hundreds of Carp Kings on the huge waves, led by Xiao Xiao, hummed an unknown tune and followed closely behind. The Kenteros were all filled with questions about how far they could go. Looking at the huge waves going away, their steps began to slow down. What just happened, Moo? Don't look at me, I don't know, Moo. So, why are we running, Moo? The Kentaro stared blankly at the group of Magi Carp that had already left them far behind and rushed toward the lower reaches of the river. You may not believe it, but today I, Kentaro, was overtaken by a group of Magi Carp. Johnson, listen quickly, the sound of water is getting closer and closer, are we almost approaching the water in the forest? This team of 4 has been walking in the meteor forest for a long time. During this period, there were elves like Tujula carrying them all the way in the forest. Now, they are finally going to see the river in the forest. Got it? Lou, we are not walking fast. Why does the sound of the waves seem to be getting closer and closer? The only foreign student in the team looked confused. Old Lou, could it be a flash flood? A man couldn't help but trembled in his legs and almost fell to the ground. What are you thinking? If a flash flood breaks out, the trees in front will fall down, and the elves in the forest will definitely run away desperately. This is definitely not the case, Lou's Hongai in the team couldn't help but said. Suddenly, in front of him, as soon as he lit up, he seemed to have thought of something. Do you think it could be it? It? The other 3 people in the team all opened their eyes wide. Lou's Hongai took out his elf ball excitedly. What are you waiting for? Maybe this is a sign that the mysterious elf in the meteor lake has awakened. They have summoned the elf out and are on their way. We must get there. Lou, what you said makes perfect sense. Johnson nodded seriously. Hybrid dragon, Bagosaurus, come out. Gah! A marsupial elf with a baby bag in front of its belly appeared, and at the same time, in the belly of the marsupial, a small blue marsupial also had its head. Johnson jumped into the bag in the belly of the marsupial and squatted down obediently like a good brother of the little marsupial. Hybrid dragon, let's go. Gah. Luz Hongai and the other three were completely envious of Johnson's little marsupial elf and had no temper at all, especially in this forest. At night, Johnson slept directly in the natural warm bag of the marsupial. It's so cool, you don't need to worry about the cold weather outside at all. However, there is no way around it. Little elves like Bagosaurus are very rare in China. They can only survive in breeding bases or in the secret realms of elves under the jurisdiction of the Elf Alliance. More people gathered in Australia. The four-person team immediately moved quickly towards the direction of the sound of the huge waves. So, are the mysterious elves in Meteor Lake a group of magi carp? Their luck was really bad. When they arrived, they were a little late. All that was left for them was the back of the giant wave and a group of lively magi carp kings on the giant wave. Luz Hongai felt that he was not feeling well. They had worked so hard to get here. Tujula didn't even take a good rest, so he just ran with them through the forest with high intensity. As a result, just show them this. A bunch of magi carp wagging their tails above the waves. It's so funny to me. Wait a minute, Lou, look at the video I left here. What kind of elf is this? Johnson's voice was like a spark, giving Luz Hongai a little hope when he looked gloomy. Brilliance. Where? This is this Gyarados? Why is there such a big Gyarados? Luz Hongai's mind was extremely clear in an instant, and all his thoughts seemed to be smoothed out. I know, it must have been Gyarados, the sleeping king in the Meteor Lake, who woke up just now. That huge wave just now must be Gyarados' surf. This is bringing King Magikarp to the most incredible evolution. Luz Hongai looked extremely excited and his tone was extremely determined. The evolution of Magikarp. It's incredible, Johnson murmured. He never thought that during this adventure in the Meteor Forest, he would encounter the secret of Magikarp's evolution. Only, they are not the Carp King, nor are they the leading Salted Fish King. The Salted Fish King's true thoughts at this time. In fact, it is so bland and fun. I'll take you to show off and take you flying. Don't talk about evolution, there is no evolution at all. The Salted Fish King simply wants the Carp Kings to see more of this beautiful world and appreciate the majestic scenery of the Meteor Forest. What if we really want to evolve? The Salted Fish King blinked. I never thought they would evolve. My initial idea was to show off the Magikarp and let them fly. Look, Salted Fish King's Yu Sheng is so bland and exciting. Xiao Baobao suddenly became calm. Among the team, there was a roar that didn't belong to him. Roar. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 304. On top of the huge waves, a Magikarp broke away from the front of the formation and jumped into the sky. The true meaning of water splashing is freedom, getting rid of the shackles of life levels. From the small body of King Magikarp, a huge shining light comparable to the sun bursts out. At this moment, evolution has truly arrived. Cluck K. Cluck K. All the Magikarps in the square team were filled with excitement and envious faces as they looked at the Gyarados leaping over the dragon gate in the sky and winning a new life. This image has deeply occupied their minds. Roar. This is the announcement of the new Gyarados' arrival in this elven world. Hello, elf world. Oh my god. What did I see? Is this really the evolution of Gyarados? It's incredible. I feel like I'm back in Australia. No, I don't need to go back to Australia, just go out from the forest and send a set of videos to my mentor. Johnson held the telescope in his hand, and his whole body was filled with excitement. Trembling. King Magikarp, evolved. This is definitely the work of the extremely powerful hidden Gyarados in the Meteor Forest. It's a pity that we can't catch up now. The surfing speed is too fast, Lu's Hongai. I couldn't help feeling regretful. Lu, don't be discouraged. I believe that Gyarados and the others will definitely return to Meteor Lake. As long as we keep walking along the lake, we will have the opportunity to see the source of the entire lake. They must live at the source. Kyung Sen clenched his fists in his hands. Thanks, Johnson, Lu's Hongai cheered up again. Roar. Xianyu Dynasty roared at the newly promoted Gyarados in the sky. Don't be so lost in finding the north. The river in front has become a little narrower, and you can no longer surf with so many Magikarp. You have to return through the river road on the other side. Ho ho ho. The newly promoted Gyarados slowly came down from the sky, saluted the Salty Fish King and Little Bayo with his beard, and then at the signal of the Salty Fish King, he and Little Bayo became the vanguard of the same platoon. King Salted Fish controlled his surfing well, letting the residual power of the waves gradually dissipate on the river in front. King Carp and the small fish on the top of the waves returned to the water surface steadily. Coincidentally, this evolved Magikarp was one of the original 2 Magikarp leaders, so the formation did not need to be adjusted. All available. Turning backwards, the Magikarp in the back row becomes the front row, and the Magikarp in the front row is behind him. The remaining Magikarp at the front of the team continues to lead the team, along with Little Fish. Under the orderly command of the Salty Fish King instructor, the Carp King return formation was formed again. It's just that this time compared to the last time, there is an extra Gyarados in front, but a Magikarp is missing. It's time to return. Little Bayo, Little Carp, come with me. Salted Fish stabs. Roar. Cluck, K. Returning this time, Magikarp jumped even more powerfully than before. Yang Yu didn't know whether it was because he was dazzled or because Little Bayo learned the Shadow Clone from the Salted Fish King or something else. When he heard the Salted Fish King's roar and returned, he was dumbfounded as soon as he walked out. 1 2 3. Am I dazzled? I'm only 19 years old, I'm just a freshman, am I already dazzled at such a young age? Why did the Salty Fish King take Baby Boomstick out for a while? How come there were 3 more Gyarados besides Salty Fish King and Baby Boomstick? Wait, which one is Bayo? Why do they all feel the same? Yang Yu is here in the tree house. Except for the biggest one, needless to say, the biggest one is of course the Salted Fish King, but where did the other Gyarados come from? Is it possible that after going out for a while, these Magikarp can evolve? Don't kid me. No novel would dare to be written like this. Don't bully me because I'm just a freshman in college. Yeah. Dede slowly walked out, holding the spoon given by Lao Huidi in his hand. He seemed much calmer. The little natural bird that was jumping around finally mastered a little bit of power control skills, and then came out with Dede. Result. Chirp chirp chirp. The little natural bird had never seen such a formation before. So many Gyarados appeared in front of it, with fierce looks and threats, which scared the little natural bird and made it jump 3 feet high. This time, you don't have to worry about hitting the ceiling of the tree house, because outside the tree house, it is relatively empty. Alu. With a dull sigh, he rolled up his body with superpowers, slowly came to the top of the tree, and safely pulled out the little natural bird with its big head stuck in the branch of the tree. The little dream demon floated back from Xiao Baobao's head excitedly. This trip was really worth it? It's simply beyond the little dream monster's imagination. Next time, it feels like it can use the dream material from this trip in its dreams. Surfing and fighting songs are simply a stimulant for the Magikarp Kings, and they can't stop at all. Yang Yu calmly picked up the little dream monster that floated back with his hands, and held it in his arms with a smile. Finally, his eyes fell on the Gyarados on the far left. Oh, it turns out this is just a small storm. Ho ho ho. The salted fish king felt refreshed after going out for such a walk, but he was a little hungry. The salted fish king immediately flew in front of Yang Yu, rubbed Yang Yu's cheek with one beard, and pointed toward the treehouse with the other beard. Energy cube, energy cube. Where did so many Gyarados come from? Yang Yu couldn't help but ask. He was surprised. To be fair, how long had the salted fish king been out? This time, 3 heads appeared. The salted fish king scratched his head with his beard, as if thinking about how to explain this to Yang Yu. Then, his eyes lit up, and he had an idea. Ho ho ho. The salted fish king first explained to Dede, and Dede touched his head to show that he understood. Then he used his superpower in front of his eyes, and a simple painting appeared out of thin air. Suppose, at the beginning, there are 3 Magikarp. When I was there, a Magikarp evolved into a Gyarados. Therefore, at the starting point of the return journey, there are 2 Magikarp and a Gyarados. At the same time, on the way back, the other 2 evolved again, and finally, there were 3 Gyarados. Yang Yu looked at it for a while, and his head looked at the salted fish king mechanically. The salted fish king nodded very sternly, and the adopted son winking at him seemed to be gesticulating with Yang Yu. Do you see me holding it? Just when Yang Yu was stunned, the little dream demon had broken away from his arms, came to the house, and guided the salted fish king's beard to find Yang Yu's backpack. Yang Yu watched helplessly as salted fish king and little dream demon cooperated to empty out all the energy cubes in his skull bag. Yang Yu. Is there such an operation? I'm so tired from working overtime. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 305. The number of Magikarp in the Meteor Lake that successfully evolved into Gyarados was still fixed at 3. Even though the Salty Fish King took them out for a walk, the number of Gyarados did not increase. Living in the Meteor Lake, the background of these Magikarp is much deeper than that of the Magikarp living in the river in the city campus. The evolution of elves like Magikarp, in addition to their own strength, sometimes requires the help of external forces. External forces may be accidental opportunities, or they may be critical moments when facing threats to survival. The Salty Fish King takes the Carp King team to surf, which is like opening up a unique way of catharsis for them, the call from the depths of the waves, and with the efforts of his companions, they sing the loudest song together, and finally, jumped out of the Dragon Gate and evolved into Gyarados. There were only 3 of them. In fact, this is like the college entrance examination in life. Even some people with excellent grades will encounter failure, while some people who may not be well known will soar to the sky. I'm so stupid. Really? Obviously I felt like I bought something less at the beginning, but the result was, oh. Yang Yu was now looking at the little dream demon who was learning about electromagnetic waves. He was holding his head while watching and was anxious to death. Now there is a very important question: how can we test whether the little dream monster has mastered the electromagnetic waves, whether there is a unique paralysis effect of the electromagnetic wave moves, or whether it is just a voltage? Yang Yushao bought an instrument to assist in measuring voltage. Is it possible that he still has to use himself as the little dream demon's sparring partner? Dada is currently training in the forest with the little natural bird, and the Salty Fish King is teaching little Burmese and the other Gyarados, as well as the Carp Kings in the Meteor Lake about the essentials of salty fish thrust, and the learning of the little dream demon. The task naturally fell on Yang Yu. Outside the tree house, Lao Hudi moved out a deck chair. While resting, he watched the training of Yang Yu and little dream demon below. It's just that the training method below seems a bit terrible. Come here, little dream monster, use electromagnetic waves on me. Yang Yu recalled the last time he trained his shadow clone. It seemed that the little dream demon was keen on playing pranks on him. Especially when Yang Yu was the target of his moves, it would cause the subsequent extremely incredible ghost tide. This time, what kind of effect will happen? A little bit hot. The little dream demon's eyes narrowed, as cute as a little crescent moon. The master wants the little dream demon to set the target of the electromagnetic wave to himself. Great, great. The little dream demon concentrated on using the move method of releasing electromagnetic waves in the move learning machine. He rubbed his little hands and began to slowly gather weak electric abilities towards Yang Yu's thumb. There is a slight heating feeling like when a dry battery is short-circuited. This was Yang Yu's first feeling. This is also the reason why Yang Yu dared to accept the electromagnetic waves from Little Dream Demon. Even beginners would not be able to use moves like electromagnetic waves that are particularly powerful. Of course, the Salted Fish King is another matter. If the Salted Fish King wants to learn electromagnetic waves, Yang Yu thinks that testing electromagnetic waves is a glorious thing. Let Xiao Bao Bao complete it. Yang Yu glanced casually in a certain direction. Among the 4 Gyarados of similar size, one was trembling excitedly in the lake for some reason, as if a disaster was about to befall him. Afraid, shivering. Little Dream Demon, keep going, try to convert more ghost power into electromagnetic waves, Yang Yu encouraged the Little Dream Demon. The Little Dream Demon nodded happily, and at the same time, the ghost energy on its body condensed, forming more golden rays of light in its little hands. The use of electromagnetic waves failed. When the electrical energy is gathered, it cannot be released effectively. Eventually, the energy is dispersed and the effect is even weaker than the first use of electromagnetic waves. Too much is not enough. The Little Dream Demon pouted in grievance, and once again displayed greater ghost energy, intending to convert the ghost energy into more electric energy for display, but it still failed. The electric light even appeared for a moment, and then disappeared immediately, fleetingly. It is completely different from learning the moves of the shadow clone. Learning the moves about electromagnetic waves seems to have completely failed. Little Dream Demon, don't be anxious, let's take your time, Yang Yu immediately told the Little Dream Demon. It's just that the Little Dream Demon's face was blocked, and he didn't listen to Yang Yu's instructions at all. He looked like he must get out the electromagnetic waves. Click. Click, click, click. Failure after failure made the Little Dream Demon start to become a little irritable. Whoa! The Little Dream Demon's face changed from happiness to anger, from anger to irritability, from irritability to loss. For the last time, not even the golden lightning appeared. The shocked Little Dream Demon immediately turned around and floated into the forest, crying woo 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 as it floated. It's useless, woo woo. Little Dream Monster. Little Dream Demon, come back first. Yang Yu's expression changed. He looked at the Little Dream Monster that was heading into the forest without looking back, and immediately followed him. However, ghost-type spirits can pass through the trees in the forest, but you can't. Little Dream Monster. From the learning of shadow clones to the learning of electromagnetic waves, the former is like feeling the taste of genius. It is so easy to learn the moves, and the effects of the moves are very good. This gives the Little Dream Monster a huge advantage in learning electromagnetic waves. Confidence, but some things are counterproductive. Electromagnetic waves are not a special move of the Little Dream Monster. If you want the ghost-type elves to master the energy of electricity, you must master the energy conversion of electric-type moves. This is a big learning difficulty. The move of Shadow Clone only requires the user to increase the speed and create shadow illusion. Compared with the conversion of energy, it is relatively simple. Yeah. Dede heard Yang Yu's anxious call, saw Yang Yu's hurried figure, and immediately used teleportation to rush over with the little natural bird. Ho ho ho. The moment Xiao Bao Bao, who was playing in the lake, heard Yang Yu calling Little Dream Demon, the anxiety in his words made the smile on Xiao Bao Bao's face immediately turn serious. Jump into the air. What happened? Dadu, little Bayo Bayo, the little dream demon encountered some setbacks when learning electromagnetic waves. Let's go into the forest and find it. Yang Yu felt a little regretful in his heart. Was he too anxious to teach the little dream demon about electromagnetic waves now? He couldn't forgive himself for causing something to happen to the little dream demon. Yeah, Dede nodded seriously immediately. Wear the right hat, superpower, spread, search. Ho ho ho. Xiao Bao Bao instantly flew high into the forest. Little dream demon, wait for me. Ask for votes. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 306. Choo choo choo. The little natural bird saw a black shadow in the woods and thought that it had easily found the ghost elf. Following Dede, it immediately jumped high and jumped. Choo choo choo. I found you. Whoosh, whoosh. The black shadow in the leaves moved. Choo choo choo. Don't hide it, you can't hide it from the discerning eyes of my little natural bird. Jajaja. A dark head emerged. The little natural bird blinked, sorry for disturbing me. GGG. Gaisai yelled angrily at the little natural bird, and refused to let Goesi sleep well during the day. Choo choo choo. The little natural bird was so frightened that it jumped up and down 3 feet high and got into another pile of leaves. Wink, 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 wink. Gugu. Gugu, who was hiding in a tree hole to rest, didn't have a good look at the sudden arrival of the uninvited guests. He quickly flapped his wings and urged the little natural bird to leave quickly. The naughty kid who appeared out of nowhere, hurry up. Yeah. I scratched my head blankly and looked at the little natural bird running around in the sky, making the forest lively. I didn't know if it was a mistake to bring it here. Choo choo choo. After suffering so much, the little natural bird finally returned to Dada obediently, stopped running away, and no longer dared to run around. Dede's eyes suddenly moved, as if he sensed something. In a group of bushes, under a big mushroom on the edge of the tree trunk, a ghost-type elf is floating here in frustration, looking at a small pool of water gathered on the ground. In the small pool, there is also his own shadow. Woo-oh. The little dream demon kicked the small pool hard with her feet, shattering her calm shadow in the pool. The little dream demon felt very depressed. The power of ghosts exuded from his body, and he still wanted to make the golden lightning again, just like he did at the beginning, but it still didn't appear. Woo-oh. Choo choo choo. The little natural bird carefully poked its head out. The little dream demon turned his head and saw this silly little elf who could get his head stuck in a tree branch even if he jumped. He turned his head back and didn't want to pay attention to it. Choo choo choo. The little natural sparrow jumped directly opposite the little dream demon. It has never thought that it is stupid, because it is very happy, even though it was chased away by other elves just now, but now, Jujuju, it is still very happy and has no worries. The little dream demon crossed his hands on his chest and turned his head away. He didn't want to deal with the stupid bird. Suddenly, something poked the little dream demon gently on the shoulder. The little dream demon swatted it away, please leave me alone. The thing continued to poke. Damn it! The little dream demon turned his head angrily and found that it was a very familiar beard, belonging to Xiao Bao Bao. The little dream demon suddenly raised his head. On the tree behind it, a huge Gyarados was hovering on the tree like a long snake. At the end of the small Gyarados, its tail was like an upside-down golden hook, hooking onto the branch of the tree. Ho ho ho, I found you. Little Bao Bao had a smile on his face that he thought was very handsome, but it was still very ferocious. Yeah. He teleported to Yang Yu's side, took Yang Yu's hand, and appeared in front of the little dream demon in the next second. Little dream demon, Yang Yu's nervous face suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, not bad, not bad. You. The little dream demon snorted twice and slowly floated away from the ground in the direction of Yang Yu. There was still a little sadness in its voice, but its mood was much better. Click. Suddenly, just when the little dream demon returned to Yang Yu's arms and was burying her head and acting coquettishly, an unexpected voice appeared. The smile on little Gyarados' face suddenly turned the color of pig liver. Gyarados' body was not sticky to the tree trunk like the snake elf. If his tail hadn't been wrapped around several tree branches, he wouldn't have been able to hover at all. Hanging down. Boom. I know the taste of soil, but this soil is too unpalatable. Little Bayo Bayo immediately landed on his face and had a close contact with the moist land of the forest. The big face was instantly smashed down, making Day unable to react at all. Fortunately, the tree trunk that fell down and little Bayo Bayo's huge body, a wave of the superpower that burst out instantly came out from Day's body. Although the body landed safely, when little Bayo Bayo raised his head, his face and mouth were covered with the dark soil of the forest. He looked dirty and embarrassed. Ha 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 ha. The little dream demon shed a few happy tears, and the unhappiness in her heart quickly disappeared because of this episode of the little storm. Little Bayo Bayo couldn't help spitting out most of the dirt, and it was like spitting out the rice. Even though the rice was not really delicious, it still had a unique smell in the forest. Little dream demon, let's go back quickly. We can train slowly. This move is very difficult, but don't worry. With the talent of our little dream demon, we will definitely be able to master it perfectly. Yang Yu felt stone in his heart. Finally, he could understand the mood of the little dream demon. In fact, elves are just like people, they all have their own joys and sorrows. When they first start learning new moves, they will inevitably encounter difficulties, especially for extremely talented elves like little dream demon. As its trainer, Yang Yu, it is natural to guide it in the right direction. The little dream demon nodded. In fact, when it ran out, it felt a little regretful. However, when it was floating, the more it floated, the more disappointed it felt. It was a little delicate, and of course it thought that Yang Yuninj would come to pick it up. That's even better. Did not expect. Ying ying ying. Day is here, Yang Yu is here. Little Bayo Bayo is here too. The little natural bird, which was about to be knocked down by little Bayo Bayo and almost fainted at first, began to feel the joy of the surrounding atmosphere. It was happy and without worries, and started to jump, and float. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Help. My head got stuck in a tree again. Da sighed. The little dream demon imitated the dumb look and sighed in Yang Yu's arms. When Day was about to go up and take down the little natural bird, the little dream demon stopped him. This time, let the little dream demon take down the stupid bird. Just treat it as stupid bird will also come to receive the stream monster king's repayment today. The little natural bird was stuck on the branch of a tree, motionless, watching the little dream monster floating up, chirping several times. The little dream demon touched the head of the stupid bird. Hey, little stupid bird. Choo choo choo. The little natural bird that landed safely sent a cry of thanks in the direction of the little dream monster. Let's go back. Brain pain. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 307. When did that happen? When Yang Yu returned to the treehouse with little dream demon and Day with little natural bird in his arms, little Bayo Bayo plunged into the meteor lake without saying a word, swallowing a large mouthful of lake water into his mouth, and then roared, gargling under the strange gazes of Magikarp and other Gyarados. Lao Hudi closed his eyes in front of the tree house, rocking the lounge chair leisurely, as if he was immersed in memories. He could clearly hear everything happening around him, but compared with his memories, those things seemed insignificant. The happiest moments of the old man were memories. It must have been very, very early. Just like that little dream monster, it was also the time when I first learned the electric type move electromagnetic wave. When Lao Hu was young, there were not as many auxiliary tools as developed in the Elf Alliance as they are now. Training electromagnetic waves would be a waste. Just work with your partners to see who can knock the other person down first with electromagnetic waves. The one who was knocked down didn't have any good juice. When he first started training, Lao Hudi's partner was a ghost stone. At that time, the old boy ghost stone also liked to cheat. He used licking his tongue instead of electromagnetic waves. If someone was licked accidentally, he would be afraid. There is no way to practice it, after all, licking the tongue may also cause paralysis. Therefore, every time he practices, Lao Hudi has to tie a knot in that guy's tongue, he. On the recliner, the corners of Lao Hu's mouth curled up as he thought of something interesting, and his breathing became heavier. Lao Hudi thought that his talent was not bad at that time, but it was not easy to convert superpowers into electrical energy, and the same was true for ghost power. Back then, who was more miserable? It should be a ghost stone, it must be a ghost stone. Only. Lao Hudi opened his eyes, looked at the only spoon left in his left hand, and carefully looked at the cracked patterns on it. For a moment, his mind began to gradually become empty. Meditation. Meditation without any superpower fluctuations. Lao Hudi just wanted to create an empty environment in his mind, and there was one more thing he wanted to verify. With an idea, a lake suddenly appeared in this imaginary world. In the lake, some elves were added, headed by the Salted Fish King. Behind the Salted Fish King, there was a huge wave that was slowly gathering. On top of the huge wave, there was the Carp King's square formation, and that little fish. This is a dream interpretation. What he was interpreting was what happened in reality. Lao Hu reopened the scene, just like going back in time and reappearing the scene in this imaginary space at this moment. Trees rose up everywhere, little clouds began to drift away, and even the sun in the sky appeared accurately above the head of the Salted Fish King. Lao Hudi seemed to have returned to the scene where Salted Fish King started surfing. Here was the answer he wanted. One who can access the answer to that step. Surfing, first of all, requires condensing the vast power of water to form a huge wave like a high wall. During this period, there is a process of formation. This is cohesion. When the cohesion of the giant waves reaches its highest level, a vent is needed, that is, the Salted Fish King, who needs to lead the entire Carp King formation and lead the giant waves towards a certain direction. Rushing away. This is catharsis. Just like a charged move, the more powerful the energy is, the more powerful it will be released the moment the move is launched. Who did? Lao Hudi suddenly frowned. The deduction scene in his mind quickly changed. When the figure of the Salted Fish King rushed away, the scene quickly came to the scene where the little dream demon learned electromagnetic waves for the first time. The little dream demon clumsily manipulated the ghost power, trying to increase the intensity of the ghost power to increase the effect of electromagnetic waves. The energy conversion involved was deeply imprinted in Lao Hudi's mind. Wait, energy conversion. Lao Hudi opened his eyes in an instant, and his turbid eyes suddenly became deep and crystal clear, as if everything in front of him had been seen through by his eyes. Don't cover your eyes because you have great power. Don't stop training and hold back just because you think your strength has reached its peak. It is precisely because he is blinded by the power he possesses that he cannot see through the real key to taking the last step. Super evolution. Have the superpowers you have now really reached their peak? No. Totally not enough. Lao Hu looked at his body that could still stand up, and the muscles here and there on his body. Although they were old, they were still strong. Energy conversion. If we want to take the final step, it involves the transformation of power. Only when all the strength of the whole body is transformed into superpowers, transformed to the extreme. Using the power of all the muscles in the body as nourishment for the transformation of superpowers, perhaps, that is the key to the Houthi clan completing their super evolution. Houthi. In the meteor forest, Lao Hudi's call spread in all directions with the help of superpowers as a medium. Yeah. Dede was suddenly stunned, and the movement of his hands slowed down a beat. The little natural bird that was training to jump suddenly stared, because when it fell, why didn't teacher Dede catch it? Choo choo choo. Snapped. The little natural bird that jumped to a high place panicked and plunged directly into the soft ground. Its beak was like a nail. After it was driven into the ground. Can't pull it out. He lowered his head blankly and looked at the little guy who was trying to stand up from the ground, and scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. He quickly plucked the beak of the little natural bird from the soft ground. The little natural bird smacked its mouth, and its eyes suddenly lit up. The smell of earth seems pretty good. He stared blankly at the little natural bird pecking at something on the ground. Why, seemed to be very excited. Dede picked up the little natural bird from the ground and prepared to return to the teacher. The little natural bird struggled desperately. No, 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 I want to eat dirt. Obviously, the little natural bird can't break free from the stupid embrace. After all, these were the little hands that had held the salted fish king, so they were very stable. What's happening to Houthi? It was the first time that Yang Yu saw Lao Hudi standing so tall and straight. There was a thick aura about him, which made him feel solemn and silent. This is the stubbornness of an old man. Zhangxiang City, Jiangdong Province. An elegant and noble figure appeared above the water gym. Hakalong, please take us to Meteor Lake. Fang Lian, the leader of the water gym, looked extremely solemn. Teacher, don't worry, Houthi will be fine. Dawang, hold on, Xiaohong is here. Behind Hakran, there is a white-haired old man. The old man's eyes are full of worry and anxiety. Pearl City, Magic City. Ghost Gym. Something serious happened. The old gym owner's Jengar rushed out of the gym in a hurry, affecting the traffic in the entire Pearl City. What direction did you go? Koto. There are still 12 chapters due for the monthly pass. Please vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 308. Listen, what is this sound? The Kedong University team, who were training for the national competition in the Meteor Forest, were intensifying their training in an excellent location, close to a small river and with a rocky environment. A mysterious and distant call came from a distance, causing the elf who was training to stop in place. Even the concentrated attack moves were abruptly interrupted. After this mysterious call, the entire forest, for some reason, began to become mysterious. The Meteor Forest, which should have been quiet in winter without many traces and sounds of elves, seemed to have ushered in the next spring early. Old Chin, could this be the voice of the mysterious guardian in the Meteor Forest? Jo Kun, the deputy leader of the team, couldn't help but ask. Is this Houti's call? Team leader Chin Minyuan said in a deep voice. Even though the voice had spread far away, there was still an echo lingering in his ears. Houthi, Xiezioku couldn't help but ask, the forest guardian in Meteor Forest, is Houthi? It's unclear, but it's very possible. Although there are rumors of a guardian in the Meteor Forest, no one knows who the real guardian is because no one has seen him, Deputy Team Leader Jo Kun said quickly. Chin Minyuan frowned and thought, this is indeed Houti's call, but who is he calling? Everyone in Jiangdong University looked at each other, no one knew the answer. Team Chin, Team Jo, you guys, look, what is that? Xiezioku suddenly felt a figure flying rapidly at the end of the river. The speed was terrifying. Ha 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 ha. This is Hakran. There seems to be someone on Hakran's back. Who are they and where are they going? The faces of the Jiangdong University group were extremely horrified. This was completely beyond their imagination. Maybe something big is going to happen in Lu, Meteor Forest. Qin Minyuan's voice sounded faintly uneasy. Hakran. If this is the Hakran flying from Jiangdong province. Behind Hakran is a female figure and a white-haired old man, whose identities seem to be vaguely revealed. From Water Gym. Who did? Lao Huidi waved in the direction of the little dream demon. This time, Yang Yu didn't walk up stupidly. The little dream demon floated in front of Lao Huidi. A faint trace of superpower lit up on the spoon in Lao Huidi's left hand. Then, this faint trace of superpower gradually evolved from light purple to deep black amid fluctuations. This is the power of ghosts. The little dream demon felt the familiar energy fluctuations on Lao Hu's fingertips, which made it particularly surprised, because, it was like magic, all of a sudden, it changed from superpower, to ghost power. Lao Huidi's right hand gently pointed to the spot on the spoon in his left hand, indicating to the little dream demon to look carefully. This faint dark black ghostly light gradually turned into golden electric light. Lao Huidi. This is teaching the little dream monster to learn about electromagnetic waves. In the pupils of the little dream demon, the faint dark black ghost light seemed to be evolving, slowly, bit by bit, as if it was evolving in slow motion. Then, on the fingertips of the little dream demon, a ball of slightly lighter ghost light rose up. Following the steps on Lao Hu's spoon, little by little, step by step, it was no longer all blended into electricity at once. Department of Strength. Golden electric light appeared. Moreover, there is no sign of the collapse of the energy conversion bridge. When the little dream monster's eyes started to get brighter and brighter along with the electric light between his fingers, there were faint signs of cracks on Lao Hu's cracked spoon. Click. On top of the intact spoon, a small fragment broke out. Yeah. With an extremely solemn look on his face, he immediately took the broken fragments in his hands. The spoon, which should have been crystal silver, had already eclipsed in his hands, as if it had become a piece of dull dust. The complete spoon handed to him by Lao Huidi, formed a terrifying contrast. Gee! A gloomy voice suddenly broke through the air. At this moment, the surrounding air seemed to fall into an ice cellar, and a huge black shadow shrouded the entire treehouse in Lao Huidi. What? Yang Yu's pupils shrank, and a black figure appeared almost out of thin air in front of him, with an extremely evil smile on his face. At the same time, there was even a faint fierce light in those huge and gloomy eyes. This is Jengar. This Jengar, who is a head taller than Yang Yu, is he a friend or an enemy? Yeah. Dada tightened his grip on the spoon that Lao Huidi handed him, and took a step in front of Lao Huidi, guarding Lao Huidi behind him. Hate, a long-lost light appeared in Lao Huidi's somewhat tired look. Lao Huidi patted his dull shoulder, signaling that everyone should not be so nervous. This is his old friend. Lao Huidi suddenly staggered as he walked forward. Gee! The fierce-looking Jengar immediately took a step forward, used his huge body to spread his arms, and hugged his old friend who was about to fall. In Yang Yu's eyes, Gengoi's evil smile disappeared, and instead became sad and disgusted. Alu! Dada walked up immediately. In his big eyes, he looked like a strong Dada, and shed tears for the third time. The first time was the farewell to Yang Yu in Ocean Park. The second time was in the water gym, when he returned to Yang Yu and said goodbye to Lao Huidi. The third time is here. With difficulty, he raised his hand to catch the small fragment, as if it was extremely heavy. Gee! In Gengoi's sad expression, he saw the discolored spoon fragment in his hand, and his expression became even more sorrowful. You! An elegant and noble figure fell from the sky. From the sky, there was an ethereal dragon roar. Rhubarb. This is, old He. Lin Xiaohong and Fang Lian, the leader of the water gymnasium, looked nervous. When they saw Yang Yu's figure, they were even more surprised. However, now is not the time to be surprised. Master Lin Xiaohong just nodded towards Yang Yu, and then hurriedly came to Gengui Liahei's side, with faint traces of tears between his eyebrows. At this time, Lao Huidi was lying in Lao Hei's arms, his eyes a little dazed. He slowly stretched out his hand, fearing that what he touched would be a mirror, a shadow. However, Lao Huidi could really feel the wet tears on that familiar rough face. Xiaohong. We agreed not to cry. First update. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huoqiang Xiao. Chapter 309. The atmosphere around the treehouse was as cold as winter, without any warmth. Yang Yu and Little Dream Demon stood alone outside the treehouse together, feeling the cold wind outside, with mixed feelings in their hearts. He felt that he, maybe shouldn't come here, disturbing the peaceful sleep of a respectable old man. Yeah. Dada held the little natural bird in his arms and stood behind Yang Yu. Finally, a haggard voice came from the tree house. Grandma Lin's spirit is a bit old. Come in, don't just stand there like a fool. Yang Yu and Little Dream Demon were as helpless as frightened little rabbits. Come in, why, do you have to raise my voice to talk to you? Grandma Lin raised her eyebrows. At this moment, Yang Yu obediently walked into the treehouse like a child. The Little Dream Demon floated behind with his head lowered, holding the little natural bird in his arms blankly, and followed him with his head lowered and his feet. In the house, Lao Huidi's spirit has returned to normal. Next to Lao Huidi, the big Jengar must let part of his body sink into the ground so that he can have enough space to stay in the house. Huti. Lao Huidi smiled slightly and waved in Yang Yu's direction. Little Dream Demon, the old man is asking you to go. Yang Yu secretly glanced at the Little Dream Demon. Hey, the Little Dream Demon dare not go there. The Little Dream Demon also secretly came back and glanced at Yang Yu. Grandma Lin looked at the two timid little guys, shook her head helplessly, and motioned to Fang Lian beside her. Senior sister Fang Lian quickly pushed Yang Yu gently behind him. Go, Hudi, I'm telling you to come over. This time, did you call me too? Yang Yu came to Lao Huidi in a daze, and the Little Dream Demon also lowered his big head and floated melon seeds over. When Lao Huidi deduced energy condensation, energy catharsis, and energy conversion yesterday, he consumed a lot of energy during the deduction. In addition, Lao Huidi had not used the spoon in his left hand for a long time. Unexpectedly, he simply after performing energy conversion twice, it was beyond the capacity of the cracked spoon. Perhaps, this also told him that he had to make a final decision. Huti. Lao Huidi gently stretched out his hand and stroked the Little Dream Demon's curled hair like a will-o'-the-wisp. His eyes were full of gratitude and care. Who could have imagined? It was when the Little Dream Demon was clumsily learning electromagnetic waves that the transformation failed again and again, which made Lao Huidi figure it out. What about the vital energy transformation that touches the extraordinary? Transform your whole body's strength to the limit of superpowers. Some simple truths, due to the increase in strength, are often confused by the powerful strength, and instead ignore the simplest and most unpretentious truths. It's not too late to wake up now. Lao Hu looked at his old friend. Huti. Gengui Liahei nodded seriously and waved his chubby hand in the direction of the Little Dream Demon. Go over, Little Dream Demon, this is what Gengui Liahei wants to teach you personally. A smile appeared on Grandma Lin's tired face. Rhubarb is still the same rhubarb. Grandma Lin's words made Yang Yu's mind go from confusion to complete emptiness. It also. Isn't it incredible? Lao Huidi's friend, how powerful will this Jengar be? The Little Dream Demon gently patted Yang Yu's cheek, which was like a sculpture. Yang Yu, who was in a state of downtime, just nodded. For such a big thing, he might need to slow down. After getting Yang Yu's permission, the little dream demon happily started flying up, down, left, and right in the tree house. The little dream demon, who has a keen sense of ghosts, of course knew that this big one had to move his body. Part of the Jengar embedded in the treehouse is so powerful. Perhaps, even more powerful than the little dream monster's parents. Of course the little dream demon is happy. Seeing the little dream demon flying around the room happily unable to find Bei, Grandma Lin, and senior sister Fang Lian in the room all laughed, and even the nervous expressions on their faces began to grin. The atmosphere in the treehouse was much happier. Lao Huidi smiled and took Yang Yu's hand. There was one thing that had always been doubtful in Lao Huidi's heart. In this last period of time, perhaps, he wanted to get the answer. When he left with Dede and Yang Yu in Ocean Park, Lao Huidi didn't use predict the future once, in fact, he used it twice. The object of predicting the future, for the first time, was Dudu. He foresaw the evolution of the salted fish king. On that day, Dudu will inevitably appear in the waters where the salted fish king evolved. However, Yang Yu's figure never appeared in the images of Dede's future. The fog shrouded Yang Yu's future. So, Lao Huidi performed the second prediction of the future, and the person who predicted the future was Yang Yu. However, the use of predicting the future failed. Using the forbidden moves in the elf world twice in a row, Lao Huidi's superpower load reached its peak, causing the superpower spoon that had already cracked, to crack again. This is the second time in Lao Huidi's life that he has failed to predict the future. For the first time, the object of use is myself. The second time, it was Yang Yu in front of me. This time, Lao Huidi's eyes looked deeply into Yang Yu's. The moment the two pairs of eyes met, Yang Yu's whole body couldn't help but tremble. Yang Yu saw clearly Lao Huidi's wise eyes, as if he could see through his whole body. At this moment, the golden light in Yang Yu's mind flickered again. Predict the future, Gray. The magical move, just like the name of the move, can predict what will happen in the future. Source: who did? Note: moves are forbidden in the elf world. Powerful predictions of the future always carry some unpredictable dangers. Note: not teachable. Note: when predicting the future lights up, you can choose to use it or not. Hate. Lao Hu shook his head in confusion. The Yang Yu in front of him had no special characteristics, just like an ordinary freshman, unremarkable. Perhaps, being ordinary and unremarkable is the biggest obstacle to predicting the future. At this time, Yang Yu was already more and more confused. The little dream demon had an extremely powerful teacher. This already made Yang Yu ecstatic. However, this prediction of the future. It's like suddenly receiving a big gift package for newbies. Yang Yu was a little at a loss as to what to do. Huti. After explaining everything, Lao Huidi finally called Xiao Hong affectionately. Grandma Lin nodded, her face slowly becoming serious. Rhubarb, super evolution, whatever you need, we will prepare it for you immediately. Count me in. Fang Lian stood up. Gee, Gengui Liahe showed his evil and determined face. Hey, the little dream demon clenched her fists. I'm coming too. Yang Yu's heart was surging, and he also felt a huge pressure on his shoulders. Ah, Dede put on his hat and put it on. Chirp, 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 the little natural bird also chirped to help. Roar. The salted fish king outside the treehouse has a clear understanding with Yang Yu and Dede. The salted fish king is always ready. Cluck, K. The carp king team is always ready. Serve the king. Want a small ticket. Roar. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Shao. Chapter 310. My bag, where is my bag? Oh my god, Why is my bag missing too? What's going on? My energy cube, my wound compound, and my food. An angry shout came from somewhere in the meteor forest. My facial cleanser, essence cream, moisturizing cream, and lip balm, and so much more, are gone. Shizuoka drooped his head and was about to cry. Energy cubes are all trivial matters, but what should I do if I don't have cosmetics? Mine is gone too. Zhang Qian, a girl in the same tent as Shizuoka, also discovered that when she woke up, her entire bag was gone. What's going on? Whose elf was keeping watch last night? Qin Minyuan's face changed and he couldn't help but ask. How could something like this happen in the forest? The one who kept vigil last night was my long stone. Where is my long stone? Lu Jianyi's expression changed. I saw a spherical stone rolling out of the tent in the middle of the crowd with its limbs hugging itself. Longshi opened his eyes and saw a group of people surrounding him. He was so scared that he quickly closed his eyes. Longshi, what happened last night? Where are our bags? Lu Jianyi immediately increased his voice, surprised and angry. Where did you get these bags? Yang Yu looked at more and more backpacks piled up on the ground under the tree house, and he felt a bad feeling. Chirp chirp. The group of long-tailed monsters in front of Yang Yu seemed to be in a very happy mood, feeling a kind of joy from the bottom of their hearts that they could help Lao Hu. The leader of the long-tailed monster waved his hand. You're welcome, that's what they should do, steal something, oh no, get something from the trainer traveling in the forest, especially at night, that's not too simple. The entire meteor forest was like a natural factory that had begun to operate bit by bit when Lao Huidi decided to prepare for the last super evolution. Behind the tree house, the natural bird family has set up a super altar here. They seem to be able to predict the future situation through natural perception. 12 natural birds surround the entire super altar and enter a motionless state. Like a circle of natural bird sculptures. The Kent arrows who shuttled through the forest helped Fang Li and Hall Master transport supplies back and forth, running from Meteor Lake to the edge of Meteor Forest, and then carrying supplies back from the edge of Meteor Forest. One trip after another, running tirelessly. They knew in their hearts why they could live peacefully in this Meteor Forest. Now, their efforts are needed, so it is incumbent upon them. Hold head high. Above the sky, the little flying elves such as the bird, the eagle, and the owl, who should be resting peacefully in the tree holes in winter, flew into the sky in an extremely abnormal manner, not afraid of the cold, just to be able to build a tree house. The old Huidi in China, do something. Thank you for your help. If possible, please help us return these bags to their original owners. When you come back, I will treat you to the food cooked by the hippo chefs. Grandma Lin walked out of the wooden house. When I looked at the pile of backpacks under the tree and the group of cheering long-tailed monsters, I understood everything in my heart. Yeah, boom. At this time, the Dai hippos who arrived one after another in front of Dai Dai and reported one after another stretched out their hands to say hello to the long-tailed monsters. Chirp. The leader of the long-tailed monster couldn't help but wipe the corner of his mouth that was dripping with laughter. The food cooked by the hippopotamus chef, that is the real delicacy in the elf world. I'll ask Salted Fish King's Carp King team to send them along the river, Yang Yu suggested. Some of the backpacks here seem to be quite heavy. I really don't know how these skinny long-tailed monsters bring other people's packages back from the forest. Headache. Okay, Grandma Lin nodded, looking at the most shining giant Salted Fish King in Meteor Lake, and the few Gyarados surrounding it, like stars over the moon. Grandma Lin took a deep look at Yang Yu. Yang Yu, your Salted Fish King, is such an amazing little elf. The long-tailed monsters carried school bags one by one. Under the command of the leader, the long-tailed monsters arrived on the raft by the lake one by one. The rope connected to the raft was tied to Magikarp's body. The Magikarp team formed a temporary water transport team, led by Gyarados and the other 3 Gyarados. They were divided into 4 teams to complete the water transportation from all over the lake. Transportation tasks. Cluck K. Ka. When a raft reaches the load-bearing water line, the water transport team can set off. At this time, above the meteor lake, you can see the magical scene of Magikarp carrying a backpack with a long-tailed monster, as well as some Magikarp teams returning from a distance. When the forest was put into operation, all the elves temporarily abandoned their previous prejudices. They had only one goal. The guardians of the forest have been protecting them for more than half a century. At this critical moment, it is their turn to protect their guardians. Lu, look. Isn't this our backpack? The god of the forest, it's incredible. This must be the guidance of the god of the forest. Johnson immediately closed his eyes, and when all of their backpacks were lost and recovered, they headed towards the end of the lake's water flow, deep bow down. The Longtail came to us on Magikarp's raft with a backpack. Oh my god. This is incredible. Johnson, I believe that this meteor forest really has a forest god. Lu's Hongai's expression was extremely complicated. Looking at the long-tailed strange hand that stretched out his hand as if to apologize to the group of them, he felt for a moment mixed feelings. When the Kadong University group was in a dilemma, the ice elf in the team roared in the direction of the treetops. There is a situation. Qin Minyuan and others immediately made preparations. However, they did not expect that what appeared in front of them. It's their backpacks one by one. Chirp. The long-tailed monster barked twice downwards and left quickly. My energy cube. All my things are there, nothing is missing. My facial cleanser, essence cream, moisturizing cream, and lipstick, are all back. Shizuoka was so excited that he almost cried when he saw the lost cosmetics. This is cosmetics. Energy cubes are not as important as cosmetics. Great, they're all back. Only. What happened in the meteor forest? Qin Minyuan felt that everything had become mysterious and unpredictable. Ask for a vote. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Chiang Xiao. Chapter 311. G. At the edge of the lake in Meteor Forest, there were rows of long tables. Outside the tables, a huge Jengar was sitting in front of the campfire, rubbing his hands expectantly. Chef Daima was skewering a large piece of grilled fish in his hand, sprinkled with Daima's special chili pepper and cumin powder, and sprinkled with some sauce. The rich aroma kept tickling Gengui Liahei's nose. Can you hurry up, can you hurry up? All the flowers I have been waiting for have faded. Yeah, boom. Before the hippo grilled fish chef could finish his words, Ghost Liahei grabbed the extra large grilled fish exclusive to Liahei and stuffed it into his mouth along with the skewers. The dumb hippo chef scratched his head. He was about to say that he should eat slowly, it will burn. Gee. Gengui Liahei swallowed the grilled fish that was much bigger than his mouth in one bite, and rubbed his fat belly with satisfaction. As for the skewer, he quickly returned it to Chef Hippo. Do it quickly. Do it quickly. Keep going. The little dream monster on the side looked at such a big and plump master in surprise. This was the first time it saw that after Jengar opened his mouth, the corners of his mouth could even spread to the whole body. It's great, it will definitely scare people. Quite a few people. GGG. Jengar proudly hugged his big belly and leaned back. Cool or not? Do you want to learn? Huh, Lao Hu walked slowly from behind, looking at his old friend who was still the same as before. Even though he was older, he still maintained a prank heart. However, the little dream demon also likes to play pranks. I think the experience between the master and the apprentice will definitely be a lot more fun. G. When Gengui saw Lao Huidi's figure, he immediately changed from laughing and snoring to becoming nervous. He was worried about Lao Huidi's condition. The warm atmosphere around him cooled down. Whoop! Lao Hu waved his hand. Sometimes fate is like this, what should come will always come. Instead of lamenting its injustice, it is better to fight it to the end. Lao Huidi's fingertips polished a faint golden light. Electromagnetic waves? There was a trace of trance in Gengui Liahe's serious expression. The electromagnetic waves in front of me were like going back to the not-so-good time of studying electromagnetic waves with Lao Huidi decades ago. Damn old Huidi, he was still a hateful Yongjira at that time. Can the ghost-type elf lick his tongue and call it cheating? He couldn't help it. Use licking tongue on Ujira. That is the expression of loving you. Absolutely abominable. Bastard Yongjira also tied his tongue in a knot. If he hadn't tied his tongue during electromagnetic wave training, Yongjira would have picked up his little spoon and fought with him. It sounds like Uncle Ghoststone was afraid that his little spoon wouldn't work. That was because he was letting Yongjira do it, but he was afraid that if he punched him, Yongjila's little spoon wouldn't work. Gengui Liahe blew a whistle from his mouth. Time to learn about electromagnetic waves? Time flies so fast, decades have passed in a flash. At that time, Yongjira relied on having a small spoon to bully Ghoststone for not having a small spoon. Using electromagnetic waves, he couldn't eat any juice. Every time he made a move, Ghoststone was half a beat slower. It's because his tongue is tied and he can't speak clearly. That's for sure. Yongi La's small spoon should have been confiscated in the first place and not allowed to be used. The one who cheated was clearly Yongi La. Uncle Ghoststone didn't cheat. The memory scenes appeared in front of Gengui Liahe's eyes, and gradually dissipated. At this time, Lao Hu's old face was fixed in his eyes. Yongjira at that time. Now, I am old. Gee. You win. Gengui Liahe's hand also lit up with a golden light, and together with the light in Lao Huidi's hand, it got closer little by little. Whoop. No, I lost. In Lao Huidi's eyes, he began to recall bits and pieces of the past. Perhaps Gengui Liahe was his best friend and biggest opponent in his life. Gee. Gengui Liahe's aura exploded, but the extremely dominant ghost energy was only directed at Lao Huidi beside him, without spreading out at all. Gengui Liahe's eyes seemed to be lit with fierce flames. He stretched out his hand and firmly grabbed Lao Huidi's arm, staring straight at the old bastard in front of him. This time, you have to win. This time, you are not allowed to lose. In my impression, the young Yongjira and the old who did, they always win. Lao Huidi looked at the dark sky above the meteor lake. His wise eyes, which were filled with deep emotions, were already in tears. Gee. Strong and stubborn old man, you may have never cried in your life. Gengui Liahe exerted all his ghost power and held Lao Huidi deeply in his arms, as if he had entered a different dimension, completely isolated from the outside world. Gee. If you want to cry, just cry in my arms. Here, no one knows that the elder Lao Huidi, who has overcome all obstacles in the elven world, has lost all his strong appearance and all the labels on his body. In the eyes of others, you are a king with superpowers, but in the eyes of me, Gengui, Liahe, you are still the naughty Casey, the bastard Casey who likes to use teleportation to bully ghosts. You are still the bastard Yongi La, the bastard who likes to use a small spoon to preemptively make Ghoststone's tongue-tied, and you also use electromagnetic waves to prevent Ghoststone from eating good juice. Evolving into who did, the burden on the shoulders is extremely heavy. In the Elf Alliance, perhaps the super system is more trusted and welcomed by others than the ghost system. But, that's so tiring. Old man, it's time to put down everything and all the burdens on your shoulders. It's time to cry for yourself. Yang Yu looked left and right, wanting to ask about Lao Huidi's whereabouts, but soon, Grandma Lin shook her head and gave up the idea. At this time, the little dream demon looked at the space around him curiously. It was like an extra-dimensional space appearing out of thin air. It seemed that it did not exist, but it could be felt with the power of ghosts. This is what Master Gengui did. Amazing. The lights around Meteor Lake are still bright. Many elves in the Meteor Forest gather here, and under the outstanding cooking skills of the Hippo Chef, they can experience the natural delicacies from the elf world. There was little starlight, and the lake reflected the twinkling stars, and the moon slowly rose up. Under the gradually moistening gibbous moon, everything in the forest seemed quiet and peaceful. Gengui Liahe's figure finally appeared slowly. Lao Huidi's breathing was rising and falling evenly, and he had fallen asleep. There are still 2 days until the full moon. Gee. You will definitely win, definitely. Pokemon's Character Master. Author, AI Ren Huo Xiangxiao. Chapter 312. Soothing Potion, Meditation Potion, Strength Potion. The formation of the natural bird super altar has been prepared. The leader of the natural bird has used the super crystal as the core cornerstone of the altar, and can perform super sacrifices at any time. The Happy Egg Healing Fluctuation Team has secretly entered the Meteor Forest through the Carp King water transport. The Hippo Healing Fluctuation Team has arrived at the designated venue in an orderly manner under the command of King Dum. The Pika Sea Healing Ringer Team is already on Kentaro's back and is about to arrive at Meteor Lake. The entire forest was making final preparations in an orderly manner. As night falls today, it's time for the full moon. Today's forest is a little too quiet compared to the past 2 days. Qin Minyuan held a thermos cup in his hand, which contained freshly boiled hot water. Yo! A fiery red Vulpix was currently lying in Siezioku's arms, and seemed to agree with this point. Yoi! The ice elf roared slightly in the direction of its master Qin Minyuan, indicating that it had made a new discovery. Lugianese, you and I go to the front to investigate. Jokun, you are responsible for guarding the camp here with everyone, pay attention to safety. Qin Minyuan immediately put away the thermos cup in his hand and ran quickly in the direction of the ice elf. Old Qin, Lugianese, you too, please be safe, Jokun gestured. Nu. There was the sound of gurgling water not far ahead. This was where the Jiangdong University group was fetching water. In the river at this time, there seemed to be some little elf flying on the water. What is that? Lugianese stretched out his hand in disbelief and pointed at several pink elves in the water. This is a happy egg. Qin Minyuan immediately picked up the telescope hanging on his chest. After seeing the scene in front of him clearly, he took a breath of air. Happy eggs are not controlled by the state, how can there be so many of them? The happy egg is here in Meteor Forest. Lugianese took Qin Minyuan's telescope and immediately looked into the water, his eyes full of disbelief. Captain Qin, these happy eggs are sitting on a raft, and Carp King gave them to them in front of them. What happened in the Meteor Forest? Was any elf seriously injured? Qin Minyuan couldn't figure it out. How could there be a happy egg? Meteor hurriedly came from the provincial and municipal elf hospitals thousands of miles away. What about in the forest? It's incredible. Lugianese opened his mouth wide and was stunned. Sister Fang, the happy eggs have arrived. Yang Yu looked at the scene where 5 happy egg elves appeared at once, and his heart was also filled with shock. This scene now. I no longer know what words to use to express the horror in my heart. The logistics and medical support lineup prepared for Lao Huidi is epic and powerful. GGG. Gengui Liahe's figure hurriedly fell from the sky, falling to the ground like a big fat purple ball. Then, he didn't know where it came from, as if it came from that huge bottomless pit-like mouth. Take out an elf. Yeah dong. Yang Yu's eyelids twitched again. Dude, Duong. Gengui Liahe actually took out a slow king from his mouth. What the hell kind of operation is this? After being taken out from Gengui Liahei's mouth, the Dude King looked confused. This is where? Didn't I remember that I was still in the Magic City Super Tower? Why were you kidnapped and brought to this place? Yeah. Almost sensing the aura of the same king, Dai Dai teleported from where the Dai hippos gathered and immediately came to Yang Yu's side. Yeah dong. Super Tower Slow King blinked his big eyes and asked curiously. Were you kidnapped too? Gengui Liahei gently gave the Super Tower Slow King a tap on the back of his head from behind. Can what Gengui Liahei did be called a kidnapping? Little brat, I brought you here to help to give you face. GGG. Gengui Liahei directly dragged the tail of the Super Tower Slow King towards Lao Huidi's tree house. Come on, Lao Hei, spent so much effort and even tied it up myself. Oh no, I will send it to you personally. I came here just because I want you to give me, Lao Hu, a super massage so that you can be in the best spirit, to take that crucial step. Old Hei, did you bring the Slow King from the Super Tower? After senior sister Fang Lian received the happy egg elf, she saw the one being dragged towards the tree by the gang ghost Old Hei. The weak and helpless king in the house, with his eyes full of sadness. He was stunned for a moment. Yeah. Dede never thought that he would meet the Dede King from the Super Tower in this way, and for a moment he didn't know what to say. All I can do is touch my head. Is he the Slow King in the Super Tower? Yang Yu felt a little dazed after hearing senior sister Fang's introduction. Gengui Liahei. He actually brought the Slow King from the Magic City Super Tower, which is famous for its superpowers to recuperate, and when I think of the way that Slow King appeared. Yang Yu swallowed his saliva. Did Gengui Liahei take it out from his mouth? Yang Yu felt that his mind was a little messy. However, Gengar Liahei is still thoughtful. The healing effect of Super Tower Slow King is immediate. This time, we will definitely succeed. Senior sister Fang Lian once again used the elf ball to summon Hakran. Hakran, go to Zhongyang City. Yes, it will definitely happen. Yang Yu looked at the elegant figure of Hakran who was gradually moving away from him, and clenched his fists. Dadu, let's continue to help. Yeah. When the Super Tower Dude King saw Hudi's figure, his expression immediately became serious and serious. At this moment, in his eyes, there was only a respectable super senior who needed to receive medical treatment. Yeah boom. G. Gengui Liahei waved his hand and asked Dede Wang to help Lao Hu take good care of himself. It's a pity that it still takes a lot of time to go from Meteor Lake to Magic City. Hope to catch up? Yeah boom. The sunset is about to set. Grandma Lin looked deeply at the retreating fiery red sun and the fiery clouds set off by the sunset. Although the beauty was intoxicating, she wished so much. Sun, set later. Outside the tree house, the atmosphere began to become more solemn little by little as night fell. Teacher, we have done everything we can do, and we will definitely succeed. At this time, Fang Lian did not look like a water gym leader with clear rewards and punishments, and decisive judgment, but more like an ordinary junior. The superpower sacrifice at the natural bird altar has begun. Yang Yu held his breath. At this time, in the clearing behind the tree house, pink-purple light, engraved with circles of mysterious characters, slowly rose in the air. When a ray of cold moonlight and the light of sacrifice perfectly merge, the full moon time has arrived.